Hello students, today let's discuss about digestion. It's a new topic, it's chapter number 16 of your NCERT textbook. You have already studied about digestion in your school, isn't it? Okay, now let's just recollect or just revise what you have studied in this chapter, digestion. What do you know about digestion? Now let's see what is the definition of digestion or how can we define digestion. Digestion can be defined as a process of conversion of complex food molecules into simple absorbable ones. Now what's the meaning of that? Food molecule which is complex means when we take some food like rice, if you are having your lunch along with chapati, you have your curry, you have a little bit of rice and all that. Okay, so that is a complex food molecule. It consists of various nutrients, right? Why do we eat food? We eat food to get energy. And from where do we get energy? We get energy due to the breakdown of these nutrients which are present in the food. So this complex food molecule, if we take chapati, it contains carbohydrates, it contains various minerals, right? So these food molecules has to be broken down into small particles which can be absorbed by the small intestine. So this conversion of a complex food molecule into simple absorbable ones is called as digestion. Hope you got the definition of digestion. So it is conversion of complex food molecule into simple absorbable ones. Now the human digestive system consists of mainly two different parts. It can be divided into two. First one, alimentary canal, and the second one, digestive glands. Now when we say alimentary canal, it's also known as the gut, G-U-T. Now alimentary canal and digestive glands are the two main parts of human digestive system. Now here in this picture you can see the human digestive system. The alimentary canal can be clearly seen in that. There is an enlarged portion of the stomach also. So you can see that. So for your exam, you may get an question, draw a neat label diagram of digestive system. So you can draw either the first one or the second one, third one, that is this diagram. This one you can draw. Okay, so you need not show the shape of the human body and all that. Directly you can draw this one. Okay, fine. Now let's see the parts of the alimentary canal. The alimentary canal, so human digestive system is complete. What is the meaning of a complete digestive system? Complete digestive system has two openings, a mouth for ingestion and an anus for egestion. So let's see the various parts of the alimentary canal. So the alimentary canal begins with the mouth, followed by buccal cavity. You know what is buccal cavity? Buccal cavity means the mouth leads into a cavity that is called as a buccal cavity, not buccal cavity, it is buccal cavity. Buccal cavity leads into the next part which is called as the pharynx, followed by esophagus. Why I am repeating these words is for Kannada medium students. Okay, English medium students know all these words, I know. But for the Kannada medium students, I am just repeating these words. Okay, so mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine and anus. So these are the various parts of the alimentary canal. Hope you all got it right. Now which are the digestive glands? Let us see. In the mouth, that is in the buccal cavity, we have the salivary glands. Now the salivary glands are of three pairs. There are three pairs of salivary glands. Which are they? The first one, parotid gland. Second one, submaxillary gland. And the third one, sublingual gland. So the three digestive glands are, the three salivary glands are parotid, submaxillary and sublingual. The second glands are the gastric glands, that is the glands which are found in the stomach. Gastric glands are made up of three types of cells. They are peptic cells which secrete pepsinogen, oxyntic cells which secrete HCl, HCl means hydrochloric acid, and the third one, that is mucus cells which secrete mucus. Okay, so the three cells found in gastric glands are peptic cells, oxyntic cells and mucus cells. Then the third gland is the liver, which is the largest gland of our body. Then comes the pancreas, which is the second largest gland of our body. And then lastly, the intestinal glands. So these are the digestive glands. So main digestive glands are salivary glands, gastric glands, liver, pancreas and intestinal glands. So hope you understood the parts of the alimentary canal as well as the various digestive glands which are present in the human digestive system. Now we have to study in detail about each of these. Okay, so first let us study about the alimentary canal itself. So the alimentary canal, the first part is the mouth, right? Mouth leads into the buccal cavity. So you know that the buccal cavity is bordered by cheeks on the sides, right? In front the lips, then on top the roof is the palate and the floor is the tongue. Okay, so that is the buccal cavity. So let's first discuss about the teeth, right? Where do you find the teeth? Teeth are found in the sockets of the jaws. The human dentition, dentition means the type and arrangement of the teeth, that is called as dentition. Dentition means the type and arrangement of teeth in the mouth, that is called as dentition. Human dentition is described as by using three different words. So please note the word. The first word, thecodont, D-O-N-T, dont means tooth, okay, thecodont, then diffeodont and heterodont. So the three different terms which we use to describe human dentition are thecodont, diffeodont and heterodont. Now let's see what is thecodont. Thecodont means, theca means covering. So each tooth is embedded in the sockets of the jaws. So the tooth, you cannot pull the tooth easily. Why? Because it is deeply embedded inside certain pockets or sockets, right? And because of the, since the tooth is embedded in the socket of the jaw, it is called as thecodont. Hope it's clear. Second one, diffeodont. Di means two, right? So diffeodont means there are two sets of teeth. Human beings have two sets of teeth, not the teeth on the upper jaw and the teeth on the lower jaw. The two sets of teeth are milk teeth and permanent teeth, right? Now, milk teeth is also called as deciduous teeth. Deciduous. Now, what is milk teeth? When you were all small, when you were born, after by the time you completed 1 year, your first tooth appeared, right? After the age of 5 or 6, what happened? Some of the tooth started falling, or it started coming out of the sockets, right? And a new tooth came. So that means the first set of teeth, it will be replaced by another set of teeth. So the first set of teeth, that is called as the milk teeth or the deciduous teeth. Deciduous teeth means which falls and which will be replaced by a new one. And the second set of teeth is called as a permanent teeth. Okay, so the two sets of teeth are the milk teeth or deciduous teeth and the permanent teeth or adult teeth. Okay, so that is why, since human beings have two sets of teeth, it is described as diffeodont. And the third one, heterodont. Hetero means different. Human beings have 4 different types of teeth. You must have observed that all the teeth in our jaws are not same. There are some differences in their shape and their structure, isn't it? So there are 4 different types of teeth found in human beings. Which are they? The 4 different types of teeth are incisors, canines, premolars and molars. So which are the 4 different types of teeth? Incisors, canines, premolars and molars. So these are the 4 different type of teeth found in human beings. So that is the, so because of the presence of 4 types of teeth, the human dentition is described as heterodont. Hope you got it. So which are the 3 different words which are used to describe human dentition? One is thecodont, second one is diffeodont, and the third one is heterodont. Hope it's clear. So human dentition is described as, why? You may get a question. How is human dentition described and why? You have to explain each word. Fine? Right. Now, coming to the next. The teeth is made up of enamel, right? There is a enamel found on the teeth, and enamel is considered to be the hardest part of the teeth. Now, what is the function of the teeth? The main function of teeth is mastication or biting, chewing the food. That is the main function of teeth. Hope you all understood this. Okay, so that is all about teeth. Now, the dental formula of teeth can be written as 2, 1, 2, 3 upon 2, 1, 2, 3. What's the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? You know that. Look at the picture here. Here you can see. So in this picture, here you can see this is the upper jaw and this is the lower jaw. So this is the upper jaw and this is the lower jaw. And in the jaws, you can see the tooth are arranged. How is that teeth arranged? So as I've told you, there are 4 pairs of there are 4 types of teeth, which are the incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. The 2 front teeth, that is these 2, right? I hope you can see. I have put 2 dots over there, right? These 2 teeth, right? Those 2 teeth, they are called as the incisors, right? Side of that. So two pairs. So 2 teeth here, 2 teeth here. Okay, so each side, let us take as one side, not 2 sides, both the sides. Let us take only this part, okay, this 7, right, this 8, okay, same 8 teeth we have here also. We have 8 teeth here and 8 teeth here, right? So these 2, so these 7, 8, right? These 8 tooth, starting from this, okay? These 8 teeth, these 8 teeth, of that, the first 2 are incisors. Here we have 2 incisors. Here also we have 2 incisors. Then there is 1 teeth, that is the canine. So this is 1, this is 2. 2 incisors. Then comes the canine. Then comes again 2, premolars. These 2 are premolars. And these 3 are molars. Hope it's clear. So, once again, the first 2, that is these 2, here 1 and 2, these 2 are incisors. And the third one, that is this one is canine. These 2 are premolars. And these 3 are molars. Okay, so this is how the teeth is arranged on the jaw. So one side we have how many? 8, right? 2 plus 1, 3 plus 2, 5 plus 3, 8. So 8 plus 8 is 16. This is upper jaw. And the same way we have down also, that is on the lower jaw also, we have 16. So 2, 1, 2, 3. This is 2, 1, 2, 3. This is 2, 1, 2, 3. So this is 2, 1, 2, 3, this is 2, 1, 2, 3. So like that. So we write the dental formula as 2, 1, 2, 3 upon 2, 1, 2, 3. So you have to remember that into 2, that is 32. So totally how many teeth will be there? There will be 32 teeth. Hope the structure of teeth is clear to you all. Okay, fine. Now we'll move on to the next, that is the alimentary canal. That is alimentary canal begins with mouth. Mouth leads into buccal cavity. The buccal cavity consists of the teeth and the tongue, right? Teeth and the tongue. Teeth we have already discussed. Then about the tongue. What is tongue? You all know what is the function of a tongue. Tongue is a muscular organ and it is connected to the floor of the buccal cavity by a structure called as the frenulum. So, frenulum is nothing but when you raise your tongue, open your mouth, raise your tongue, you can see a small membrane-like structure here which connects the tongue to the floor of the buccal cavity. That is called as frenulum. Hope it's clear? Right. Now, The upper surface of the tongue, it has small projections which are called as papillae. On the upper surface of the tongue, there are small projections called as papillae, and some papillae have taste buds which help us to know the taste. Hope it's clear. So that is all about tongue. Now we'll move on to the next, that is the pharynx. So mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx. Okay. Now pharynx is a common passage for food and air. Food and air. That is, the food passes through the pharynx, air also passes through the pharynx. The pharynx is actually divided into two regions, that is oropharynx, nasopharynx and laryngopharynx. Three parts: oro, naso and laryngo. Oropharynx is that part of the pharynx which leads into the esophagus. Nasopharynx is that part of the pharynx which leads into the trachea. That is, nasopharynx is a part of respiratory system, and oropharynx is a part of digestive system. Then the oropharynx has small glands which are called as the tonsil. You all must have heard about tonsil. So in this picture here you can see the tonsil. This is here you can see small dot structures on either side, that is called as a tonsil. Sometimes this tonsil gets infected and it becomes inflamed, and the inflammation of the tonsil is called as tonsillitis. So for some people the tonsils becomes inflamed every now and then, so they have to remove the gland, and that operation we have to do. So that is tonsillitis. Infection or inflammation of the tonsil is called as tonsillitis. Hope it's clear? Right. Now coming to the next, that is the glottis. Glottis is nothing but the opening of the trachea. Hope you all know that the respiratory system and the digestive system, they are found front and back. Okay, so the respiratory system is found in the front portion, and just behind that you find the so here you can see, so this is the respiratory system and this is the digestive system. Okay, so the respiratory system consists of the nose, the nasal cavity, which leads into nasopharynx, which opens into trachea or the windpipe, and then bronchi, lungs and all that. Okay, that we will study later. So the respiratory system is found in front of the digestive system. So both have a common passage, that is the pharynx. Now there is an opening for the trachea, and that opening is called as glottis. And this glottis is covered by, or it is covered by a lid-like structure, and that lid-like structure is called as the epiglottis. So epiglottis is a cartilaginous flap made up of cartilage, a lid-like structure made up of cartilage, which closes and opens the glottis. Okay, so epiglottis is a cartilaginous flap which opens and closes the glottis. Now, the epiglottis, what's the function of epiglottis? It prevents the entry of food into trachea during swallowing of food. As you all know, when we eat food, sometimes when we laugh, what happens? The food particle enters the trachea and we start sneezing or coughing and so that, right? So on. So, why it happens is, when we are swallowing the food, automatically the epiglottis closes the glottis so that food particle will not enter the trachea. But when we laugh or when we speak loudly, what happens is there will be a difference in the air pressure and the epiglottis opens. If epiglottis opens, what happens? The food, instead of entering the esophagus, it goes into the trachea. Okay, so the function of epiglottis is to prevent the entry of food into the trachea during the swallowing of food. Hope it's clear? Right. Now we'll move on to the next part, which is the next part, esophagus. The pharynx continues as a thin, long tube passing through the neck, thorax and diaphragm, called as the esophagus. So here you can see in this picture, you can clearly see this part is the esophagus, this long tube which passes through the neck, the thorax and the diaphragm, that is called as the esophagus. Okay, now the esophagus opens into a J-shaped muscular bag which is called as the stomach. You all know that. So the esophagus is a long tube and it pushes the food into the stomach. So the function of esophagus is just to push the food, peristaltic movement. There is a particular movement called as peristalsis, and due to this movement the food will be pushed into the stomach. So stomach is a J-shaped muscular bag. Now coming to the stomach, which are the parts of the stomach? So in this picture you can clearly see the part of the stomach which is near the heart, that is called as the cardiac stomach. Okay, you can see that the part of the stomach which is close to the heart, that is called as a cardiac stomach. The second part is fundic stomach. The third part is body of stomach, and the fourth part pyloric stomach. Pyloric stomach is towards the intestine. The lower part of the stomach is called as a pyloric stomach. And the cavity of the stomach is called as a antrum, A-N-T-R-U-M. So antrum is a cavity of the stomach. The main part of the stomach is called as a body of the stomach. The cardiac stomach is the first portion of the stomach, that is immediately after esophagus. The first part of the stomach is called as a cardiac stomach, and why that name is because it lies near the heart. Then comes a fundic stomach, body of the stomach, pyloric stomach, and the cavity of the stomach is called as antrum. Coming to the next, that is stomach leads into the intestine, opens into the intestine. Intestine is divided into two parts, that is small intestine and large intestine. Let's first see the parts of the small intestine. Small intestine consists of three parts. The first part, which is C-shaped. Here you can see this is the C-shaped part of the intestine. This C-shaped part of the intestine is called as the duodenum. Can you see that? This is a duodenum. So this is a stomach. Stomach continues as a C-shaped region which is called as a duodenum. Okay. Now the next part, duodenum continues as the coiled jejunum. So this part is the jejunum. Which part? This part. This part is the jejunum. So the first part of the intestine is the duodenum. It is outside the large intestine, right? It is a C-shaped region. And attached to the duodenum we find the two glands, the largest glands, it is the liver and the pancreas attached to the duodenum. Now duodenum continues as the highly coiled jejunum, and the third part is the ileum. Ileum is the highly coiled part of the small intestine. This part is the which part? Ileum. So the duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Hope you got these are the three parts of the small intestine. Now coming to large intestine. So this is a here we have this is the last part of the small intestine. Small intestine continues as a large intestine, this part. Okay. Now the large intestine first opens into a region called as a cecum. So this part is the cecum. Which part? This part is the cecum, right? Cecum ends in a blind sac-like structure. Can you see this blind sac-like structure? This is can you see a small worm-like structure which is extending from the lower part of the cecum, that is called as a vermiform appendix. It's called as vermiform appendix. Okay. So this is cecum, right? Now the cecum continues upwards as the colon. So the next part of the large intestine is colon. So this is a colon. Colon is divided into three regions. The first part of the colon, this is called as ascending colon. Then comes the transverse colon. Then comes the descending colon. And this S-shaped structure is the sigmoid colon. Okay. So this is ascending, then transverse, then comes descending, and then comes sigmoid. So these are the four parts of the colon. Colon is again divided into ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon and sigmoid colon. Now sigmoid colon opens into the rectum. Here you can see what is that bulged portion. This is the rectum. Rectum opens into anus. Okay, that is the last part. Rectum opens into anus. Anus, this is the last part. Hope it's clear. So the parts of the small intestine, I hope it's clear to you all. So small intestine consists of the three parts, that is duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Then large intestine divided into cecum, that is the bottom portion, continues as the colon. colon is divided into ascending colon, transverse colon and descending colon and sigmoid colon. Sigmoid colon opens into the rectum and rectum opens into the anus. So hope you all understood the various parts of the digestive system. Thank you.